Hi, thanks for watching. I'm the Lipstick Gal. I wanted to share with you some of the things that I'm using every single day in my makeup routine. Now, I used to be the sort of person who something new came out, I bought it. Something new came out, I need that too. And I am trying so very hard because when you have 60 blushes, you can't wear them all. And I am not one of those YouTubers who receives PR. Everything you see, I buy with my own money. And I tend to be kind of stuck or addicted to high-end products. So I'm trying very, very hard to kind of broaden my range. So hopefully you'll see some of that here within what I have to show you today. So one of my favorite things to use is this. It's from the Hylamide brand, which is a Decay brand. This is called Hylamide HA Blur. And this is a hyaluronic-based prismatic blurring surface perfector or finisher. And it's basically, it feels very much like those silicone primers. And you don't necessarily have to use it as a primer. There are days that skincare, sunscreen, and then this over the top, because it mattifies in such a beautiful way. It fills in all of my little pore area. I didn't remember to put it on today. I should have. Bit of a rush this morning. We won't get into that. But this is one of the things that when I go barefaced, which I tend to do a lot, or when I decide to put on full face, I use this. This is how I start everything right after. Oh, it changes all the color. There we go. Right after I get into all of my skincare. All right. I have been loving a more natural look. I have, probably 30 or more foundations. And the truth is, I like the look of my skin best. I feel it looks at its healthiest and its most real when I just use concealer. And concealer under the eyes, around the corners of the mouth, a little bit here. I tend to get some darkness here. I can't ever really truly conceal that age spot all the way because, well, the sun did put it there for me on purpose. I can't seem to get away from those. And I'm not willing to cake on thick, thick, thick layers, but just to do minor perfecting, I have been loving this. This is the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer. Now, I know for some people, this is too dry for under the eyes. I use this all over my face. So I'll dab my finger in a little bit and then just tap it on where I need it. And it's one of those, right here. It's one of those that I feel blends in really easy. I use my finger. Sometimes you could use a beauty blender, that would work fine, or a brush, but I feel like the warmth of my hands kind of helps to blend and tap it in, and it makes it look more like my skin. On top of that, I like to use one of two powders. I just took a picture, put it up on my Instagram, which I will link below, but I have a huge, like almost obscene amount of powders, pressed powders, loose powders. Some of them aren't even my shade. I'm like, why do I still have these? So it's time to kind of go through and clean it out. But my favorite two right now, and these have been favorites for at least a couple of years, and everything else that I've purchased, everything else that I've tried, I still come back to these. The first one, this is the one that I've used the longest, is one of the Hourglass Ambient Lighting powders. This is in Diffused Light. This is the one that they say has a slight yellow undertone, and you can see it's well loved. It's lost its little dome. And this is one that they put, and I'm so glad they did, in their 2017 holiday palette, but it's a really small little brick. It's one of 6 different things in there, but they have 2 of their ambient lighting powders. And I find some people think of this as a highlighter. I don't. I think of this as an all-over powder. And since I'm in my early 40s, 43, I like something that gives my skin just a little bit of a soft sheen. And this isn't so much that you end up looking, it's radiant, but it's not, just put it right here, it's not super shimmery. There's no glitter, there's nothing. It just makes my skin look alive and not matte and flat. Another one that I love that tends to have more of a matte appearance to it is this one from Charlotte Tilbury. And this is the Airbrush Flawless Finish. Now, you can see this is my second one of these. I already have a replacement, but I am doing my darndest to get every single bit of this product out of those nooks and crannies. I mean, come on, there's not a lot left, but I'm gonna get as much of it out as I can. Sometimes I'll use this because it's so finely milled with a small brush like this. This is Wayne Goss's airbrush. So I'll just take a little bit of this and I'll just dab it like this under the eyes. And I find that this hides a multitude of sins. I don't put on really thick layers. You can still see that I have dark spots here. I always have this little dark spot here and slightly over here. I can never really seem to get rid of it without putting on like pancake face makeup, and I'm not about to do that. So what I like about this is that it does help to mattify, to blur, to help keep everything on all day. I'll just do a little bit of this while I'm here. Corners of my nose and my chin, a little bit on my forehead. Love this. And by the way, this Wayne Goss brush, I have a whole set of Wayne Goss brushes. It's like I almost use nothing else now. There are very few brushes that I use instead of these. They're worth every penny. Every penny. They're gosh darn expensive, but they're worth every penny. All right, from there, after that, I usually do bronzer. I've been kind of rotating through so many, trying to figure out in my collection of things, and I have a larger than average collection, what I love. And there's nothing right now that I pick up every day. So from that, we'll skip to blush. And I've been kind of popping between 3 different blushes. And one of them I've had for a while that's been a new discovery. This is another ambient lighting blush from, this is Diffused Heat, another ambient lighting powder, but it's a blush from Hourglass, and this is Diffused Heat. And what I love about this is, wow, got a lot of light coming in, natural light, and that I can't control. It's a beautiful, beautiful color. It's peachy, it's pink, it blends well. You don't have, it doesn't come off as a really bright, like, streak of color. It's fantastic. Another one that I've liked, and this is one that I got in my BoxyCharm last month. This is from Pretty Vulgar. This is their Make Them Blush in Hush Blush. That's a lot of blushes. Hush Blush. It looks like this. The packaging, of course, is super cute, like a little picture frame. But this is the color. Another one that is mostly rosy with a hint of peach to it. Oh, I put it in the wrong spot there. It caught onto something else before okay, so it's not really streaky. Let's do it in here. It blends beautifully. It's fabulous. I love this blush. There were 2 tones in the BoxyCharm for March, and this is the one that I got. It was the lighter of the 2, and I really like it. The last blush that it's between one of these 3 when I put my makeup on is one of the new duos from Jouer. And this is the lightest. This one's called Adore. And I'm sure you can see this is the shade here that I spend more time in than this one. But together, they're beautiful. Let me see. So the lighter shade and the darker shade, but they blend seamlessly. They're very, very, very nice. It's about $30 for this, but you can always find some sort of a discount code. Either it's somebody's PR code or something else, but I really love this. And I think the packaging is so gorgeous. I'm gonna drop it here. It's metallic, it's beautiful. It really reminds me, size-wise, of the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow. Same size pans, only, I mean, it's a really nice mirror. Everything about this packaging is beautiful, but this enamel top, I love it. All right, so from there, highlighter. And the highlighter, it looks like I'm a little kid, and I just put more and more and more and more on because I love it so much. And it's one that you may have, or that you may have heard a lot about. This is the In Nude Endo palette from ColourPop. And I love this palette so much. And the ones that, this color, where is it? The one that I accidentally gouged is too dark for me, but I use it as a eyeshadow all the time. But look at the way that it catches the light. I cannot say enough good about this, but I spend a lot of time kind of between this, and this. I guess this one I didn't swatch enough for you. There you go. And a lot of times I'll just kind of take a brush like this and just go and get it loaded up like that and then apply. I shouldn't apply anymore because, as you can tell, I already have a bit on. All right, so from there, other things that I have been loving and reaching for on a daily basis. I picked this up recently. This is the Urban Decay and Kristen Leanne Daydream palette. I'm going to drop the brush out of here. I always tend to leave the brushes in there, even though they're not the best brushes, because I have been known to travel, take a favorite palette, and then not take a single brush. So anytime a palette comes with a brush, I always leave the brush in there, so in a pinch, I can still do my makeup. All right, so these are the colors. Let me cover this. Maybe it doesn't bend all the way back, but let's do that. So the lightest here, this color is one, it's so pale, so very pale. But for somebody who is as pale as I am, I can put on concealer or any sort of eyeshadow primer and then use this all over the lid, and it sets the lid, and then all of my shadows glide over that without sticking down in funny places like this did. This kind of had something there and it hadn't been set and it got stuck down there. And these two neutrals, I thought they were so similar in shade until I realized this one has a lot more warmth to it. The other one feels more like a neutral. And I have never been one to use orange eyeshadow. And I know this isn't really an orange. This 1212 is not really an orange, but it has a peachy, warm, orangey undertone. And I love the way it looks, because up until this point, I'm what you would call a beauty enthusiast. I'm not necessarily like a purveyor of all things. I don't know everything there is to know. I just am really enthusiastic and I love it a lot. And I've learned a lot just by what works for me. So I have never been able to use pink or peach or orange eyeshadows without making my eyes look sick. This one does it beautifully, and then a little something to darken up the outer corner. Love that. And the other one that I have been using a lot of is one of these 5 pans from Natasha Denona. It's the eyeshadow palette 5. This is palette number 2. Now, if you see in the sunshine, the only matte here is this one. Now, some people complain about not having enough mattes in a palette. I think this one is great because this one and this one here have the most sparkle and shimmer and shine to them, and the other ones work really well. But what I love about these more than anything is how they feel and the pigmentation. It's outstanding, absolutely insane. Now, I would love to have one of those huge palettes that cost $250. That's not in my budget. That's not going to happen. And I've also been hearing that people who do have a large collection of Natasha Denona palettes, that the formula seems to be changing. And so I'm glad that I have this one. I know it's in the older packaging. She's starting to use much slimmer packaging, but I love this palette. I use it all the time. All right, the other thing that surprised me, and I am one of those people who spends a lot of time not successfully doing my eyebrows, but always trying to get them, because without any makeup, my eyebrows are, they kind of come to here, then you have like 5 or 6 little hairs, the last half. But one thing that really surprised me is this product from CoverGirl. And it has spoolie one on one end and a really fine tip on the other. This is called their Ultra Fine Brow Pencil. I don't know how long this has been available in the drugstore. I had been one of those people who always was Anastasia Brow Wiz or the NYX Microfine Pencil. I would use those two interchangeably as dupes. And then I dyed my hair a little darker. And it didn't have a lot of the auburny warm tones that it used to have, and taupe no longer worked. So I had to go for something different. And I said, you know what? I don't know if this is the hair color that's going to stay, but I need to get a darker pencil. And I picked this up. And I am so amazed. Now, I will say it draws nice. The more pressure, the more color that you get from it. I'm all the way down. Here we go. The more that you get from it. But what I like about this is that you have the ability to do really fine strokes, to do really bold. And the harder you press, the more color you get. I like that. I feel like it's right in the middle of not being too soft or too hard. And it does blend well when you use the spoolie on it. I don't know why I'm doing this on my hand here, but it does blend things out really nice. So I'm really surprised at how much I like this, and the fact that it's even less expensive than the NYX Micro Brow. I like that. All right, and the 2 lipsticks I have been living in is the one that I'm wearing today. This one, it's very expensive. More expensive than lipsticks should be, but I love this line. This is from Lipstick Queen. I love the retro packaging. It also has that very satisfying magnetic closure. I mean, I live for a magnetic closure. And anytime packaging is this beautiful, it's very weighty. It feels luxurious and expensive. I'll pay the $50 for this, but this is what it looks like. And it's a bit of a warmer red. So if you want to cool it down, something darker as a lip liner, fill it in with this. This also is not, I don't know if I can show you here, it's not ridiculously opaque. It's sheer. And I like that about it. I know everybody goes for a really opaque lip, but I find that if I wear a really opaque lip, it tends to age me. And this is opaque, but it has some shine to it. And so I love a traditional lipstick in a bullet that has some shine to it, but is not so glossy that it's gonna go everywhere. And this I love. The other one that I love is more of a budget lipstick, and I am in love with this line. And I'm one of those who has Dior, YSL, you know, the $50 lipstick queens. I don't have any Tom Ford. I got rid of the Tom Ford that I had because it didn't last very long. It started to smell like a crayon. And if your lipstick ever smells like a crayon, you've had it too long. But it went really quickly. And I have some Givenchy, I have some Guerlain, I have a whole wide range of expensive, like stupid expensive lipsticks. And when these came out from ColourPop, this is their Luxe lipstick. This is my favorite shade. This is Ghosted. And I do love that detail of the stars on the bullet itself. But there you go. It's a warm, rosy tone. It's really great. It works great as a neutral, but you also, if you're wearing really, really light makeup and just this, it works really nice also as a bold lip. So those are the things that I'm loving. It's not a lot, and not all of it is brand new, and I'm okay with that. I'm learning to love what I have, use what I have, and maybe buy a little less. If that's what you're interested in, I'll be doing more videos like this. Thanks for watching. Bye.